Good afternoon, Jan.
Good morning, Michael.
So, how have things
Right
been
on
going?
time.
Yes, indeed. Oh, well, yeah, it is. Yeah,
Well,
getting everything ready for code launch. I've yeah, done some really interesting updates to Launch Kings, and I think I mentioned I am actually competing in code launch as
yeah.
part of the Professional Coders League.
Mhm.
So with Code Launch, we've got 6 finalists that have come through this cohort of competitions where they're doing pitch competitions, and then they're working on their startups, and they're trying to trying to raise awareness and practice all of the things that a startup needs to do in order to be successful. And then the final 6 from that cohort go on stage at Code Launch and present their their startup to the audience. And
Mhm.
Launch Kings is the application that people use to vote for those. But then part of being a finalist is that you are awarded a developer team that does a 2-day hackathon to advance your startup a bit further. So that's what we call the Professional Coders League, and this year, quite to my surprise, I am leading one of the Professional Coders League teams. Um, wasn't I didn't sign up for that because I'm working on Lunch Kings, but um, yeah, one of the other leaders had to drop out, and it's like, Michael, you're in. So okay,
The people know you.
yeah, yeah, and they
Yeah.
know that I have a hard time saying no, especially to something as fun as a hackathon with
Mhm.
a bunch of my friends. So yeah, 2 days, Sunday and Monday, where we are coding 10 hours on on the startup stuff.
Well, so that startup might be lucky that your colleague dropped out.
Maybe, although he's pretty good. So I, um, yeah, my the colleague that dropped out is my boss, Tim Rayburn, and yeah,
Oh, okay. So
he's
better be careful.
yeah. Yeah, he's very well known and very well respected in the industry. So yeah, they lost Tim, but they gained me. Uh, yeah, hopefully we'll do pretty good. But yeah, already got some great ideas for what we want to accomplish. Wish I could share them with you, but yeah, gonna have to wait until probably August when this recording is actually live streamed
Mhm.
and everybody else gets to vote because the studio audience is going to select one winner, but after the live stream, we're going to be running Launch Kings um, across across the world. So while everybody's watching the live stream, they will be using Launch Kings in order to vote on their favorite startup, um, and and then there will be an additional award
Mhm.
to the live stream selection. So by then, I have to
Okay,
make
so it
sure
will.
that Launch Kings scales so that it can do that.
Yeah. But so they will show the recording
Hmm.
with the voting of the professional jury, and
Yes.
then they let the the people who watch the recording,
Hmm.
uh, which will be remotely. It's
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. So everyone will be using Launch Kings
Mm,
online on their own device. So yeah, it's optimized for a mobile phone. So
mm,
you have to make sure it works, from your laptop while you're streaming the show, and then yeah, we're gathering all those in real time during the live stream, and then swapping out the ending. We are playing we're recording all 6 of the finalists. Uh, yeah, well, first of all, we're recording the win from the live studio audience, but then we're going back and recording all 6 of them winning the live stream audience, and so
okay.
yeah, the audience will determine that later in the year, and then we'll play that ending.
Mm.
Much like Clue, remember that movie?
No, no, I've never seen that one.
Yeah. The famous thing about it is that it had like 4 different endings, and
Hmm.
which ending you got just depended upon which theater you saw it in. but
Okay.
but yeah, this will be we're going to select. Yeah, you're going to select the ending. You're going to select
Hmm.
the finalist. So that's an exciting way to do things, I think.
So every team has to record his own winning.
Yep.
Well, well, they might
Yeah.
be set afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We might win, we might not, but let's pretend that we did, and let's
Mm.
yeah. So that way everybody can see the results of their voting
Yeah.
during that live stream. Um, yeah,
Mm.
it's going to be quite a production.
And that's going to be quite a challenge for Jinaga as well,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because that's going to be an enormous scaling,
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
unless you
It's
keep it secret.
we're definitely not going to keep it secret during the live stream. No,
Mm.
we're going to be telling everybody. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We want usually a code launch has attendance in the few thousands, because
Mm.
it's in a venue and we have to respect the venue's uh, capacity. But yeah, for this one, yeah, we're saying yeah, hundreds of thousands is
Mm.
what we're going for. So yeah, I currently have code launch running um, on a single virtual machine. so so yeah, I'm monitoring that machine during the event to make sure it stays up.
Mm.
But uh, yeah, but yeah, for this, I'm definitely going to need to scale it to multiple machines, and the Jinaga replicator is designed to do that. But this will be
Mm.
the first time to put that into practice and see it happen.
With multiple replicators next to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
That's
That's
going to
why
be
it's called a replicator.
mm. Good. Looking forward to that. But before that, I have a simple problem for you.
All right.
Wait, let me show you. Like usual, I didn't do a lot, but I got into trouble.
Oh, good.
Um, this one. So I put it. Normally, you should see.
Yeah, I am.
Shift that here.
Hmm. Let's see. Zoom app. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. It's trying to. Yeah. That's not. Okay, I'm trying to get my Zoom started,
Mm.
and let's just go to the website real quick. Zoom.us. Because that was trying to sign me in with my company account. So there's my email. Boom. And I don't want to use my company account. No, no. Yeah, Zoom.us is doing the same thing. I did not get this prepared. Okay, yeah, I used my company email in order to set up my own account. Um, and so now apparently they've changed Zoom to be yeah, an SSO backed thing. So it's recognizing my company email as part of the company domain. Okay, so we might not be able to use Zoom to do this. Would you mind doing a share on Discord? See if we
Yeah,
can
no problem.
get that working again.
Right. Stop sharing this one. Then I quit Zoom. Okay, so that one is closed. Then yeah, share on Discord. Which one is it? Yeah. That seems to be working.
Okay, yeah.
You do see
Yes,
it?
we've got it.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because before it crashed from time to time.
Yeah.
But that might be because before I was in a virtual machine. And
Ah,
now it's running on my main computer.
okay.
Yeah. So that brought me all the way back to installing Node, because Node was not installed on the main computer. So a couple of weeks back, we had a very long session, almost 2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
where you installed the skills.
Mm-hmm.
They don't stop. That's just publicity.
Mm-hmm.
That's not customers. So we installed a few skills into Nawiis. But actually that was on the branch where I already did some testing for Nawiis.
Mm-hmm.
So now I said, okay, let's go back to the empty Nawiis project and then install the skills there. So the skill creator from Anthropics was okay. Then the 2 skills from factory engineering was also okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then I wanted to install the symlinks.
Mm.
Because long ago I said, okay, I don't want to know about symlinks.
Yeah.
But I keep it to cursor. But if I use these skills, yeah, it places them automatically in other directories. So in that clone
Mm-hmm.
directory, so I have to install the symlinks, otherwise it's not working.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah. The symlinks are definitely problematic. Well, I'm hearing that you need the symlinks in order to get things working. In other situations, the symlinks are causing problems. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what to do.
um, are the skills working like that? I didn't test that out. I thought, okay, I need them,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
so here,
Yeah. Quick way to do that is if you hit slash, it should bring up the list of
the skill
skills, and then you can show more in order to get the full
babysit.
list.
Babysit, is that one of them?
No, no.
Create
Uh, hmm.
factory engineering.
Yeah. So there's the factory engineering skill. Yeah.
A skill creator is there.
Yeah, and skill optimizer is there. That one's from factory engineering. Okay, so that.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's
okay, yeah, it looks like it's pulling in the right things, so that's good.
so in fact we don't need to have the symlinks to make it work in. Cursor is
Yeah,
automatic
cursor.
looking into the clone directory then.
Yes, yeah, cursor does respect Claude skills, the directory. It doesn't respect .claude/commands, but I've noticed that a lot of the advice is moving away from commands to just make everything a skill.
Okay.
So I might change the advice that I give on the factory engineering site to follow that.
Mm-hmm. And the rules, if we make rules,
Yeah.
they will automatically be in the cursor directory.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Because another thing I was thinking with the skills, no, with the symlinks are a Windows feature.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you make a few symlinks, you go back into your repository,
Yeah.
but the symlinks do not disappear. So you cannot undo it unless you remove them through Windows.
Yeah, and furthermore, there is a symlinks feature in Bash, but they're not the same feature. And so when you check out that same repository in 2 different operating systems, it only works in one of the 2.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah.
that's a big problem. I created all my symlinks in Bash, and then they don't work in Windows.
Okay. And when you check it out on a new computer, you have to run you have to set up the symlinks again.
The if you've got if it's the same operating system, then
Yeah.
then the checkout will restore the symlinks. So Git is integrated with the OS in that respect, but which then tells me makes me wonder why they didn't work between operating systems, because Git should understand that. But
Git
yeah,
restores symlinks.
yes, it does.
I
Yeah,
wasn't aware of that. Okay.
yeah. Maybe it just doesn't work terribly reliably. Maybe that's what I was seeing. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, in general, I've also seen that cursor specifically. Some people have had trouble with cursor using symlinks.
Mm.
They did seem to work for me, um, but there are other currently open issues that they're not working for other people. So I think I might just go away from the symlinks idea, especially if I can move everything into .cloud/skills, and use that for commands and for workflows as well. And then the only thing that's different, well, then you've got some IDEs that don't respond or don't respect .cloud/skills, like KiloCode doesn't, and I think it was GitHub Copilot, or maybe it was Anti-Gravity. Anti-Gravity doesn't. It's got a different place where it likes to put skills, and so yeah, I might just have syncing as part of the skill. Yeah, it's kind of a mess. I wish we would just standardize on the folder structure too.
Because I read the symlink ID in a few other places as well on the internet.
Yeah, that's where I got it.
Where.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently some people had success with it or partially.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder if they are sticking with a common OS. So it's like, okay, I always do development on a Mac, and I just go from one Mac to another, or all of my team uses Macs, whatever. But
then it might work.
Yeah, then it might work.
All right, then. But the fact that it works without symlinks, all
Yeah.
the better.
Yeah. So specifically because you're using cursor, then yeah, you can put everything in .cloud/skills. If you use the built-in cursor command now, there's a /create skill command that's now built into cursor. It will create it in .cursor/skills. So you need to use a / instead of an @ to bring up that command. So /create. You can see the commands down there, but
the create skill.
Yeah, create skill. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that actually is shipped as a skill. Okay. But yeah, that's not a skill that's in your repository. It's not in your user skills. It's not in your enterprise skills. That is a cursor skill. And so that one knows how to create a skill within cursor. And so it's going to show up in .cursor/skills. I've gotten in the habit of, if I use that, copying it or moving it into .cloud/skills.
Okay. It would be nice if they standardize.
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
And then we don't have the workflows in cursor.
Yeah. Yeah, so the factory engineering definition of a workflow is a set of instructions that orchestrate a series of agents. And so that set of instructions could take multiple forms. There's another IDE called Windsurf that has a feature called workflows, and their workflows feature is pretty much commands. So they've got different names for for similar things. But what I've seen a lot of people starting to do is they will take even a sequence of instructions and make that a skill. So skills can now be just the packaging for delivering content or context. So if that context is a set of instructions that tell the host how to orchestrate a set of agents, then factory engineering calls that a workflow. but it can be delivered as a skill. The thing is that the description has to say only apply when explicitly asked for. So things that are sets of instructions, I don't like those to be skills that might accidentally be loaded into context. Because then it starts to follow some instructions that you didn't intend. You were trying to do something else, and it said, "Oh, let me pull in this skill." So, so yeah, that might be the direction that I start to move things. And then the factory engineering skill will be there to help you sync your skills from one IDE to the next, and also to make sure that the skills that you create, that you think of as commands or that you think of as workflows, actually do follow the the right meta structure.
Okay. And then there were a few in factory engineering.
Mm-hmm.
There were a few other, I think, rules that you used. For example, the one that set the tone of instructions.
Oh, okay. That was so on the factory engineering site.
Yeah, that was an internal one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there were a lot more. Are these useful to?
No, they're not. So I think what happened is you did NPX open skills, and then there's factory engineering organization that I created after I started the factory engineering repository on my site. So if you did that with Michael L. Perry /factory engineering, then you would have gotten the old one. If you did, which I think I might have since taken down, but if you did factory engineering /skills, then that's a repository that is just the skills that I want to publish to others. If you do factory engineering /factory engineering, that's the website, and so you will get the skills that I've developed in order to build the website.
So I need NPX and then factory engineering.
Yeah, let's try both of those variants and see the difference. So yeah, in the terminal, yeah, let's say NPX, then space open skills, and then space factory engineering /skills.
That was with a dash?
Nope, all one word. And then /skills.
Skills?
Yeah.
And that should give me...
oh, I'm sorry. There's an install just before the...
here.
Yeah.
Open skills, install.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so that should show you two skills. So the factory engineering skill, which currently sets up symlinks, but is going to be updated, and then skill optimizer, which applies best practices to the skills that you're creating. So let's go ahead and escape to. I think it's escape. We'll quit that.
No, it doesn't want. Control C.
Or you can hit I to invert. That'll turn everything off, and then enter to submit.
Enter.
Yeah. So now do the same thing, but instead of factory engineering /skills, do factory engineering /factory engineering. So just the last part where it says skills.
Engineering / and no skills behind it.
Yeah, and get rid of the skills. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so just /factory engineering from there. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay. So what that is doing is it's going to the factory engineering website repository. So this is the repository where I actually build the factory engineering website, and so all of these skills happen to be in that website. Or in that repository. So I use things like article voice in order to have it use a specific style of writing. Then you
Yeah.
can see some Astro things, because Astro is the framework that I use for that site.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a that chat animation renderer. That one's kind of cool. So in order to demonstrate an interaction, I'm generating an animated GIF and then putting that into the article. And so that's
Mm.
the skill that does that. Um, so, but yeah, you can see skill creator or skill optimizer is in there because I use that while I'm building factory engineering.
Mm.
But yeah, the factory engineering skill itself is not in there because um, I'm only using one. I'm only doing all this work on my Mac, and so it's all in Bash. So I didn't need to shuffle things around.
Mm.
But yeah, so that would confuse you if you ran that and pulled in some of those skills. It's like these are not appropriate for Nawiis.
Mm.
These are for building the factory engineering.dev website.
And then there was another one where we had two optimizer skills, or two optimizer skills, I think. Was that not? Wait, perhaps like this?
Maybe that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Here we
So
have skill optimizer and skill optimizer.
yeah. So I think what happened there. Okay. So yeah, this is an older repository. Yeah, I've since moved it over to the factory engineering organization. So I do need to take this one down. But within this older repository, I thought that I could host this experience and build the site from the same place. And so I created a skills directory right at the top, thinking that Open Skills was just going to pull from that one. And then the site has a skills subdirectory in it, so that
But
I
it
could
took
use it.
everything
Yeah, but it's
from the
showing everything.
subdirectory. Yeah.
So yeah, I built Skill Optimizer, and then I said I want to publish this, so I made a copy and put it up there, and so now it's showing both of the versions.
Yeah. So the new version, factory engineering / skills, was there anything changed in the?
Um, I don't think so. Yeah, no, I haven't. I haven't updated that
And,
skill in a little while.
yeah, because otherwise I can just rerun it from the other one and overwrite.
Yeah,
Then
which wouldn't hurt anyway. So
mm,
yeah, go ahead and do that.
okay. That was factory engineering.
No, it's factory engineering / skills is the one that you do want. Yeah.
Skills here. So both. Oh, yeah,
Yep.
both.
Yep. Just go ahead and do both of them, and then
Yeah,
overwrite.
overwrite. Yes. And the other one. Yes.
Yeah. And then if there were any changes, then you should see them in source control. So I see yellow, which means something did change.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the source, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so it came from Michael Perry.
Yeah.
Okay. So there were some minor changes.
Yeah. Apparently. Yeah, even in the symlinks.
Okay. So yeah, this is the factory engineering skill. Yeah. So that one. Yeah, that one has changed a bit.
Hmm.
And will change again.
Okay. Never mind. All right. Then we are back on the right track. So didn't get a lot further, but at least got a little bit further. So what did I wrote down here? Let me check. Because I went again through some of the courses. So what I wanted to do was, like you did initially, let an agent summarize the the way the old Nawiis works,
Mm-hmm.
and manually add there the new architecture, very, very roughly.
Yeah.
And then I was also thinking there are a few norm documents, so standards
Mm-hmm.
about the inspection of weight scales. I could ask the agent to summarize them for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now in the norms there is much more than what I am actually applying. So filtering a little bit, but then I have actually guidelines on how the inspection should be done.
Mm. Yeah.
And I think that will catch a lot of errors and put really stringent guides on how it should be done.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that idea. That works a lot. That seems to work really well. Yeah. Having the tool extract what it thinks the application works, what the application does. Yeah. That catches a lot of the detail, get you started. But yeah, you're right. It misses the intent. The original. I did this because I want to enforce these guidelines. So yeah, you adding those on top of that really helps. For me, when I went through that process, I actually had it research metrology on the web, and so then it pulled in some domain information that I didn't know, and was able to add that. So I was able to kind of get that a little bit. But with you being a domain expert, then you're able to add more.
So perhaps it found some of the standards,
Mm-hmm.
but not the recent one of the correct one.
Yeah, yeah. Because things change.
Yeah.
Imagine that. And old things stay on the
Okay.
internet.
And then starting step by step, adding all the because then I want again to build up the Jinaga model
Mm-hmm.
first, and then start implementing
Yeah.
step by step the tests.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the process that I found works the best.
So that will be the plan.
Excellent. Yeah.
Following the guidelines from from the approval side course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And with Launch Kings, I've started to explore an even more direct version of what you were just talking about, where I'm describing the model, but not in C# or in TypeScript, but describing the model in Factual first, and then evolving from there. So this isn't quite ready for for you to apply with Nawiis. I would think that what you just described, that is the correct way to go. But yeah, this is starting to go down that path that I think LLMs open on the whole Factual Studio idea. So Factual Studio may or may not come to fruition, but yeah, something else is going to take its place. So I'm going to do a share in order to show what I've been working on.
Stop the share. Was I still sharing something?
Yes, yeah, you still have that share up.
Stop.
Okay. And then, yeah. All right. Looks like in order to get pictures back on the screen, I need to adjust something. Let's. Yeah. Okay. This is going to take a little bit of work to fix. Let me see if I can get that adjusted. And okay, so the Discord bottom, I'm going to Discord top, there we go. Okay, back to that. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I was messing around with OBS Studio over here, trying to get everything working. So we've got the right-hand view. Need to do the left-hand view if I switch things around, but we'll work on that in a little bit. Okay. So the first thing I do want to have a little sad moment. Polyglot Notebooks is deprecated. This makes me very sad. But this was the vision, or one of the interim steps for Factual Studio.
And there is no replacement for that?
The replacement, they say, is Jupyter. And so apparently the fully interoperable with Jupyter. Apparently the C# language support is available. So I could try that, and that might just work. But honestly, I think we're going in a different direction anyway. So, but yeah, it's just sad to see this extension go away. So, goodbye. I shall uninstall.
And it's just because Jupyter incorporated support for languages like C#.
Yeah, that could be it. It could be that the whole purpose of the project was to support Jupyter and then to support C# in Jupyter, and so they got to the point where now they could roll it in. It could be it, but yeah, it still makes me a little bit sad to see that. So anyway, which one are we looking at now? Yeah, so this is the LaunchKings repository, and so one of the ideas that I've started working on is this this set of documentation right here, Docs Factual. Let me go ahead and close out all of these and start right here. Here are the, let's talk about the, yeah, let's talk about the tenants. So this is the model written in the factual language. So, you know, the code launch tenant fact has a creator, which is a Jinaga user, and then code launch tenant administrator belongs to a tenant. So you've got those predecessor references. It's got a user, and it was created at a certain time, encoded as an ISO 9806 or whatever that number is string. And so in order to create all of these facts, I basically chatted with the LLM and asked it to, I first described the factual language and then said, yeah, go through all of the facts that I'm defining in my model and write this out. And so now it's got a description of all of the facts in the model. So that's step one. And then step two, the specifications. And this one was easy because Jinaga.com already documents the specification language. And so, and furthermore, this is used as the wire protocol for talking with the replicator. So it was already very well defined, both in text and in code. So, so yeah, it was able to write these specifications. So given a tenant, look for all of the events where the event tenant is equal to the tenant and not exist an event delete, where the event delete event is equal to that event. And then furthermore, where there does not exist an event restore, where that event restore, event delete is that event delete.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the events that have not been deleted, that have not been restored. Or maybe saying it a little bit clearer in English, all of the events that have not been deleted unless they've been restored. So, then it's got the projection syntax. So it's now projecting that into the ID field. It's doing a sub specification in order to pull in the names. So all the event names where there does not exist a next, where the next prior points back to this one. And then from there, it's extracting the value. So the names ends up being an array of value strings. Really an array of objects that has a value property that is a string. So that's a specification written in the factual language, so it can reason about that. So there's our deleted events. So we can go into the deleted events list and pull in events that need to be restored. Had it go through all of the specifications that were defined in the application and pull out these specification descriptions. So now I've got a full description of the model and the specifications written in this declarative application or not application agnostic, but technology agnostic. So it doesn't matter what language you ultimately code these in. Doesn't matter what framework, whether it's React or React Native or Maui, Blazor, all the places where Jinaga lives right now. And then we weren't quite there. This isn't quite enough to fully describe the behavior of an application. So the next thing that I put together was pipelines. So let's pick the most recently created event state. So starting with the specification states of event, which is defined in this events spec right here. Then within that, expect the type to be a state as a string and created it as a string. So in fact, let's take a look there. So state pulls in the event state property, created at, pulls in the created at property. So here, do a type declaration, expect those to be strings. And that now is your data source. And then you create a pipeline, the current event state, from that data source where you pick by the max created at. So now that data source is an array of those objects. So you pick the one that has the max created at over those event states, and then you pull that into a property called current state. And now you can drop the event states property, so you don't need that whole list. You just have one object that is called current state. So that's a pipeline. So these are steps that can't be done by a Jinaga specification, but instead can be done just within the user interface, just to present something to the user. And so I had it look at, this was the most challenging part for it, look at all of the code inside of the React custom hooks and the React components and see what operations they were performing, and then turn those into pipelines. So yeah, here, investor flag by attendee event. So look at attendee classes. So this is attendee classes in voting round, which is defined in one of these other specifications. For each attendee event ID, are they an investor? And then group by attendee event ID. So you've got all the different possible values of that property. So remember, with the mutable property pattern, you aren't guaranteed to get just one because there might have been concurrent edits. So this groups by attendee event ID. So these are all the candidate values. And then you maximize isInvestor. So isInvestor is going to come out as a 0 or a 1. So it's typed as a number. So so the max isInvestor will favor investor over general attendee. And then you take the max and put that into investor class. And now you can drop the classes property. And now you just have, for that attendee event, is this person an investor at that event? So these are bits of logic that you would normally do in TypeScript or in C#. But by making them into pipelines, I can make them declarative as well. So I'm just declaring the existence of this pipeline. And then when you run the pipeline, then it knows what specification to pull from, and the specification knows what the given facts are that it is going to be based on. So right there, this one right there. Where's the? Okay, there's the specification. Yeah. Yeah. So now it knows that you should be given a voting round in order to run the specification. And so if you can construct an application shell that includes navigation, it includes authentication. So you log in, then you end up with a me fact that is a Jinaga user. Like here's the attendee. So you're given an attendee. Actually, I don't think I didn't get it quite down to the me fact, but imagine this was me : Jinaga.user. So if your shell does authentication and it can say, oh, this is the Jinaga user who's logged in, then you can bind one of these specifications with a pipeline to a view. And then that view can provide the other parameters. So so now that view can say, well, this is the event that they are currently at based on what QR code they scanned, or what they selected from a dropdown, or something else that happened in the application. They ended up at this event. So that shell provides all of the givens, and then this tells the Jinaga runtime how to execute those specifications, what pipelines to run them through in order to produce results that now that component can bind to individual UI components. So the whole idea is separate the essence of the application, which is in this declarative factual language, from the user interface of it. So you should be able to create a shell with just a set of components and a navigation framework, and then it identifies here's the pipeline, and then send it to that component. Here's this pipeline, send it to that component, and then it all hangs together. And if you want a different user interface for the same application, this stays the same, and you just create a different shell.
But yeah, okay.
Yeah, the last piece that pulls it all together is these actions. So when the user takes an action, you have to create some facts and add them to the model. So I defined action as a very simple imperative language. In fact, it doesn't have mutable variables. Of course, everything is immutable in my world. So these are immutable variables. you can only define these variables in order to make things easier for yourself later on. So yeah, if you call register for fact, this user wants to, or register for event, this user wants to register for this event, and they have this attendee class, then you create an attendee access path with that information. You create an attendee, and then you create the events, and now you can create the attendee event class. So this one factor that brings them all together. And so this way, you can now expose these as functions that your shell can call. So now your components can bind a button to an action. And that kind of rounds things out. So now imagine that you don't build the shell anymore, but instead you build this specification, this declarative description of the essence of your application, and then you give that to some kind of a tool that says, okay, I can expose this as a mobile application. So behind the scenes, I will bind it to a React Native or a Maui shell. Maybe even create that shell in runtime, not even, or at runtime, not even generate the code. Or I want to expose it on the web. So, here you go. Here's a web application that can run this this description of a Jinaga application. Or it's exposed as an MCP server. So now your LLM has just direct access to query for information on your behalf, to take actions on your behalf, just by calling these functions. And then it gets to choose how to present it to you. So yeah, that's all. It's all. The LLM basically becomes the application. And so that is the vision has always been somebody who is capable enough to run an Excel spreadsheet should be able to build an application. So that set of capabilities kind of aligns with the analytical thinking that's required in order to come up with a good model. But yeah, you don't actually need to type this in. Literally, an LLM generated this already. And so I can see it's already capable of producing the description of a Jinaga application. So what if I take these skills that I developed while I was building this and publish those as an MCP server, and now you're having a conversation with the MCP server, and it's building this this description, this outline of what your application should do and how it should behave. And so you're doing that in real time. You are creating your application, and now you can share your application with other people. They can bring their LLM into play, and they can start to interact with it. And now you're sharing information. You're sharing visualizations. You can take these pipelines and bind them to a graph like I do in Cascade, and now you've got your visualizations. Then yeah, you don't need a factual studio anymore. You don't need an editor that helps you to type this stuff in, because all of this stuff is being created behind the curtain of the LLM. So that's where this is all going.
So then we don't need the Factual Studio anymore.
Right. I don't think that. I don't think that's going to be necessary. Yeah, I don't think that's something that anybody is asking for.
that's a nice development.
Yeah, this was really fun to just sit down and say, okay, I need you to bring the essence out of this application. What would be really cool then is to see if it could infer a model from a legacy application. I'm using the word legacy, but something that doesn't use Jinaga. Could it infer this? I think it could. I think it could say, well, this is the model that I recommend, and then with a little more work on the skills, I could have it interpret its recommendation and say, well, because of this, these are the consequences. That model allows you to change this thing, but I've interpreted that as all these things change together, so they're all part of one mutable property. These people can do these things, but those people can't. Those end up as authorization rules. I didn't encode in here the authorization and distribution rules, but those are already part of the the application code. So let's see. Are the compiled rules checked in? Yeah, it looks like the compiled rules are not checked in, but yeah, basically taking this information and writing all of those authorization and distribution rules. So yeah, you should be able to encode who should be able to do what things, who should be able to create which facts, which infers what action they can perform, and who is able to run which specifications, which also then constrains which pipelines they can run, because they have to be able to use the data source. So yeah, all of the security will be baked into it, and yeah, then the LLM could describe to you the consequences of the decisions that it made and that you made while iterating on this this representation of your application. And then you can take all of this and you can load it into a replicator. So you load the authorization and distribution rules into the replicator. You load all of the pipelines and specifications into an aggregator. And now you've got your application description hosted in the cloud. And it's just running those pipelines and feeding back the results. And of course, it's Jinaga, so you've got your own local replica and your own local client that can run pipelines through Cascade. And so all of that behavior is available on your mobile device, on your desktop application. And it's all just described in Factual.
All declarative now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So lots of work to lots of things that need to be need to be finished up in order to make that a real thing. But yeah, that's the direction that I'm going.
I think it's a good direction. Makes things easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes it easier for people, but yeah, it also makes it easier for the machines, because right now they are generating all kind of low-level code in order to synchronize from one service to the next. But yeah, with this, they're able to work at a higher level of abstraction and let the replicator and the aggregator and the activator, which we didn't talk about today, but we've talked about in the past, let those take all of the all the low-level stuff.
Yeah, Jinaga is will never stop. There will always be a next.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I can get it to be as easy enough for an LLM that a local model will be able to produce a good model, and then
Mm.
yeah, you can even run your LLM locally, and yeah, just connect to your replicator in order to upload your new specifications, your new models. That's if it's not possible with today's local models, it will be pretty soon because they're getting so much better. The optimizations that people are pushing to the local models with quantization and what's the term that they use for distillation? That's the other one. So take a big model that's been trained on a whole bunch of stuff, and then train a new model on its output, and it's able to distill that information somehow into a smaller one. Then quantize, so turn all of those large floating point numbers into small integers. Get smaller and smaller and faster and faster.
Amazing for for something that is still not really clear
Yeah.
how it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and then you have Anthropic working on that problem by peering into the various layers of the models that they're generating, and tweaking things and seeing how that changes the outcome. Like one of the things that they've recently been experimenting with are emotions, which when you first read about this, it sounds really scary. But then they explain what happened, and it's like, well, no, of course that makes a lot of sense. But when when you give it some input that expresses a certain kind of emotion, is there something in the earlier layers that record a signal for that emotion, and then when it produces output that expresses an emotion, and you can kind of observe that these things will try to mirror your emotions. Is there some signal at the middle layers that are indicating what emotion it's going to interpret? And so they did some statistical analysis, kind of found what looked like signals, and then they were able to go in and tweak those the values as they flowed through the weights and biases, those activations. So activate the frustration a little bit more, and then even a regular old prompt comes out sounding frustrated. I say, oh, okay. So then that kind of raises the question: do these things have emotions? And what they were explaining is that this result doesn't support the model having emotions. This research supports the model understanding, in some sense of the word understanding, emotions. So it's able to detect, it's able to generate emotions. But yeah, the analogy that they gave was that if you have an author, and the author is writing a bunch of characters in their book, they can give their characters emotions in the way that they make them behave in the book. That doesn't mean that the author has those emotions while doing that. And so these machines are, you can observe in many other different ways, really good at role playing. And so I think that's the only thing that they're doing, that they themselves aren't acting in a certain way. Even if you give it instructions and then it follows those instructions, it's really writing a story as if it were an author about a character that's able to follow those instructions. And so it's able to write a story about a character that has certain emotions. And so, yeah, then it makes sense that in order to accomplish that, it would need to somehow encode those emotions in its internal state. And so, by doing some statistical analysis and then by poking some values in, they're able to say, okay, we're pretty confident that these are the neurons that encode for these various emotional states. Fun stuff.
We will see where it gets us.
But yeah, ultimately, that should get us to a point where we understand what they're doing a bit better, as long as we interpret the results correctly. If we interpret the results with fear, then we might misunderstand what they're doing.
You have to look positive at it.
Yeah. One of the prompts that I like to give is to tell it to think like a scientist. So create hypotheses, rank those hypotheses from most likely to least likely, create experiments, run those experiments, tell me, so whenever I'm debugging something, I give it my do science prompt, and it runs through these steps. But it's not that it is a scientist, it's that, okay, I can encode for scientific behavior, plug that in, and now I get scientific behavior out of it. So yeah, think like a scientist, and then we'll understand LLMs a lot better.
Bright future for it.
Yeah, and a bright future for all of software. If we teach the LLMs how to write Jinaga models and specifications, and then deploy applications for us. Why should it keep generating JavaScript and Python and Rust? Let it generate something a bit higher level. A lot less information, but still just as precise. And then let something else take over from there. Anyway, that's where I'm going. So yeah, hope that you have some success with extracting the essence of Nawiis and re-encoding it.
Gonna try that and see what is the result. Because I think if we have the essence from the standards, that should be a very good surveillance for the future coding.
Yeah.
But I think the most important will be to extract the knowledge that I need, because the standards are quite thick, and there's much more in it than we actually apply in the software. So yeah, let it extract, review it, and erase everything that we don't need.
Yeah, and it maybe even suggest things that you do need. It's like, okay, this standard isn't encoded in the software, but we could do it this way.
Yeah, but perhaps I could even not erase things, because the disadvantage of having too much information is the context, which is too big.
Yeah.
But as long as it doesn't overload, I don't know. I will try.
Yeah, and the advantage of extracting the information and putting it into a file, not only can you read that file and reuse that file later, but also that, as opposed to extract the information and just keeping it in context and working with it, or pasting all of that information into the chat window, is that now whenever it accesses the file, it does so through some tools, not by just loading the whole file. So it's able to search for certain keywords and then load just the section around those keywords. So just by storing it as a markdown file, you've created a really rudimentary RAG, retrieval augmented generation. So yeah, you're helping to control the context window that way.
Yeah, because actually, for example, if it needs to do test 1, it will only retrieve the information that it needs for test 1.
Yeah. Yeah, and then further breaking it down into several different files really helps to put those boundaries around it. So test 1 is just in this file. So when it retrieves information around the test 1 header, it might get a little bit more before that or after that, but put it in a separate file. It's like, okay, that file.
Okay, I will try to do that. And next week you will see how it goes.
All right. Yeah. And next week we will have just, we're doing the code launch recording, studio recording on Wednesday. So I'll be able to report back how that went when we have our Thursday call.
Mm-hmm. Just looking at the agenda. Yeah, I have to see my doctor, but that's in the morning, so no problem. I will be back in the afternoon. Okay,
right,
then Michael, see you next week.
All right, see you then.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.